Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission.
Psalm 119, all the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. I think we are so trapped in this dimension, these dimensions of space and time. It is hard for us to imagine what it is like to be God in heaven who lives outside the dimensions of space and time. And something is, with Jesus on the cross, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. When he's on the cross, his final words, it is finished. But I'm here 2,000 years later, and there's a lot of things that seem unfinished in my life, right?
Yeah.
But outside the dimension of space and time, he's saying it is finished, completed, because he can see beyond this realm, this dimension.
I think that's one of the hard realities, right? The scripture talks about salvation in 3 tenses. You have been saved.
Yes.
Past tense.
Okay.
You are being saved. You will be saved. All of those are true.
Yes.
And in some sense, we are becoming who we are, right? Like the process of transformation, which we call discipleship, is a process by which we become who the scripture says we are.
Yes.
And I think that's part of this thing is like, if people could understand that there is already within them the seed of some incredible ministry, some incredible things that God is doing, and they just haven't seen it yet.
Yes.
They haven't seen it flourish yet. And some of that will happen in their lifetime, and some of that will be, groundwork that will be laid that will come for many generations. My hope is that my kids can start somewhere closer to where I finished than where I started.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Because you've kind of pushed it along, nudged it along a little bit
I don't want them to
farther.
have to go through some of the things I went through.
Yes.
Right? I want them to see some stuff and be able to hit the ground running on some things in their life, and hopefully we can train them for these things. But when you look back at the scripture, what you find throughout the whole Old Testament is at one moment God is doing something very directly with the people of Israel. They're disobeying, so here comes Babylon, here comes Assyria, taking them out and scattering them all across the Mediterranean. That's direct judgment for what they're doing. That's like what's happening in this moment. But also what is happening in that moment is God is laying out the groundwork for the missionary journeys of Paul. He's laying out all of the synagogues all the way throughout the Mediterranean, and one day soon he's going to send somebody, and it's going to be that framework that happened 400 years before that is going to be, now he's going to hit this place and this place and this place at the appointed time. This person who has a Greek background from a Hebrew family, right, raised with Roman citizenship, and he's going to send him all the way through this thing. And so if you told the person, hey, 400 years from now this will make sense, that doesn't help them in that moment, but that's the reality of what's taken place.
Yes.
And in today's world, where I'm going to have lunch with you today here, right? And I'm going to be home tomorrow, right? On the other side of the ocean, and eat with my family tomorrow. It's a different world today of the connectedness, the fact that we're doing this stuff. People are going to watch this.
Yeah, and then this is going out in different locations all over the world. People are watching on YouTube from wherever you're watching right now.
Yeah.
Comment below. And we don't know those divine interactions or connections. Even if you take it to another level and say beyond 400 years, you look at the gospel because of persecution and being scattered. Okay, so they're scattered in a westward direction. And then, 2,000 later, 1910s, the Chinese church has this back to Jerusalem call because the gospel's traversed, it went westward, right? It went throughout Europe. Then it went into the Americas, South Central, Latin America, North America. Then it goes around to, it went through Africa first, Northern Africa, and then to the Americas. And then it hits Asia. And suddenly, 1910s, the Chinese are having this passion for the Back to Jerusalem movement that we're still seeing Chinese involved with today, taking the gospel in the westward fashion, continuing through the Islamic, Hindu, Buddhist, animist blocks that are what we call the 1040 window in many ways now. And that's the groundwork from early persecution in and around Jerusalem, Antioch. It's mind-blowing. So someone is going through something right now and you say, oh, brother, in 400 years, in 2,000 years, it's all going to be good. I mean...
You're just too close to it to see the full picture.
Do we need to just step back, gather all the pieces? How do we make sense of it?
So I think two things,
in our
right?
time,
So sometimes we get a glimpse, right?
Okay.
And I think sometimes it's just healthy to understand this is just bigger than me. It's just bigger than me. And that's not satisfying for some people, especially people from the West. You've done a lot of work in China, which is amazing. And we'll talk about that in a second, right? But in the West, it's like, here's my category. It has to fit my category. We have to piece all this stuff together. I can't live with dissonance. I have to find out where all this stuff lays, and you just won't. You just can't. I'm teaching Ecclesiastes in our Bible study, and Ecclesiastes is this thing, it's like the counterbalance to Proverbs. And Proverbs says, here's this thing, do this thing, and then this happens. And Ecclesiastes says, do this thing, and maybe. It might still go bad for you.
It's a door ajar at the very end.
Yeah, and it's really tough because we want to be able to figure it all out. And there's a part of this that you just can't. So I tell people, like nobody feels big and powerful when they stand next to the ocean, right? You feel appropriately small.
Yes.
And if the God of the universe is who we say he is, then you go and get to say, I figured him out. I figured this whole plan out. I see it now.
Him, labeled him here.
Yeah, it's like that God is too small to worship.
Yes.
The God who is worthy of worship, you don't get to figure all that stuff out. Some days you get to be like Job and you get to be told, right? Like, where were you, Job?
Yeah.
When I hung the stars, right? And that I think is this reality of just saying it is just an easier life when you just stop and say, I don't have to know everything. I don't have to see everything. I don't have to know the way that God's going to weave all this stuff. But every once in a while I'll get a glimpse, and that's cool.
Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission. This podcast is powered by Within Reach Global. Subscribe, watch, and listen on YouTube today. Visit missionspulse.com.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, leave a comment below. Tell me what you thought. Also, you might want to check out this video here, and honestly, that one's not bad either. Make sure you subscribe to Missions Pulse by clicking the subscribe button right here, and also click that little bell button so you get notified every single time we post a new video.